The song was Puff the Magic Dragon, and I'm Peter of Peter, Paul, and Mary, and I wrote it. The year was 1962, and you are watching the sounds and listening to the sounds of the time.
In the early 1960s, New York's Greenwich Village was home to a burgeoning folk music scene where one young talent was about to find success in numbers.
The way in which Peter, Paul, and Mary happened started with my being managed by a genius by the name of Albert Grossman. When I met him, he had worked with Joan Baez, Josh White, Theodore Bikel, and Odetta. He said, "You know, Peter, I think that this combination would be right for America now. A strong singer, female singer, and a comedian who could also sing, and yourself." Then I saw Noel Stuckey at the Gaslight. He was running the entertainment there, and he was a comedian, and he also sang, and he played guitar, and he was incredible. He was not a folk singer at all. His background had nothing to do with it. He had a rock and roll group, but he was really something. And I said to Albert, I think he'd be great.
The final piece fell into place when Yarrow and Grossman visited Izzy Young's Folklore Center.
It was Information Central, where all the folks singers would gather, and there was a picture on the wall, a really pretty young woman. And I said to Albert, "Who is that?"
It was Mary Travers, a folk singer who, as it turned out, had already worked with Noel Stuckey. Grossman arranged for the young performers to meet and discuss forming a group act.
And the three of us sat down. Now, Noel Stuckey was not a folk singer, and he didn't know folk songs. So what did we sing? We sang, "Mary had a little lamb,
and the harmonies."
And we'd switch leads, and no matter who sang the lead, it was incredible.
The newly formed trio needed a name that reflected each member's originality.
At that time, you were the Weavers, you were the Limelighters, you were whatever. And Albert said, "You should be Peter, Paul, and Mary."
Noel Stuckey adopted a stage name to fit the bill. Then the trio got down to working on material and soon made its debut at the Bitter End, the village's preeminent coffee house.
The first night we sang, and the audience went bananas. We were singing 500 Miles, The Cruel War is Raging, If I Had My Way, If I Had a Hammer. I mean, Man of Constant Sorrow. We were singing songs that later became iconic when they were on the first album. The next night you couldn't get in, and that was the case for the rest of, I think it was the 4 or 5 or 6 weeks we were there.
In 1963, the trio released a tune that Yarrow had co-written 4 years earlier during his college days.
Puff the Magic Dragon lived by the sea. Puff the Magic Dragon was not written as a children's tune. It was written as just a song with whimsy.
It may not have been a children's tune, but neither was it a coded celebration of dope smoking, as popular rumor had it.
In 1959, when it was written at Cornell, the most egregious thing that we did was have beer in the dorms. We didn't have an option of writing a song about a dragon with a subtext about grass. I assure you that within 6 months, I could have written such a song many times.
The song, about the friendship between a boy named Jackie and a dragon named Puff, was Peter, Paul, and Mary's first major hit and propelled them to international superstardom. But its influence persisted beyond its time on the charts.
It has lasted more profoundly and in a more determined fashion than almost any other song that we recorded.
In 1968, it even helped quell violence when Yarrow and Travers joined anti-war demonstrators at the 1968 Democratic Convention.
We're singing this song, we're singing, Puff the Magic Dragon, and here underneath those helmets for the National Guard and the police were these kids. They weren't going to fire on Puff the Magic Dragon.
Today, the song continues to cast a spell over audiences, young and old.
I think it's because it strikes a human chord of vulnerability. Without his lifelong friend, Puff could not be brave.
So Puff, that mighty dragon, sadly slipped into his cave.
We know that Jackie had to grow up, and it's a sad time when we grow up. But I have a little message for you. If we keep our ethic and our values strong within us, our dragon will be safe and happy.
In a land called